Welcome back. Quick recap of tonight's fight night. We're going to get straight to it because tonight it was a good fight card. All right. You can see that this fight just finished, just ended, and by my surprise, it was a good fight. All right. I'm not going to lie here. There's a lot to complain, and I've said this multiple times, and you're going to see in my tweets and everything. Cut the heavyweight division. All right. Because this fight card was doing pretty good. You know what? I'm going to just say it straight to the point. Shout out to Mario Bautista. Literally, you looked amazing. Clearly, he is way better than any of the guys in the top 10 and the top 15. It is the top 5. Then now it is his opportunity. He fought against Umar, and now I think you should go up and fight against Corey Sandhagen, since that was your last loss beside Umar. And that was back in 2019. Look, I think this guy has potential to be champion. I like his fighting style. I know he has a lot of hate when he fought against Jose. But tonight's fight card was pretty much highlighted by this guy's dominance against Vinicius. And Vinicius should move up the weight class. All right, going through this card, it was pretty good from beginning to the end. There were some highlight moments. I actually did not see this fight, Claudia Segula. Nor did I see Jacob Wicklats. I kind of started watching it at the Wayne Kong. She definitely won this fight. Javid as well. And this one was Caitlin. This was a good matchup. This is the one I kind of want to start with. Nico Price, you need to retire. It's just been too many losses, so many finishes. Been in the game for too long. And the way you got knocked out standing up, it was just really hard to watch. This was a good fight. Alex Morono, always a vet in the game. He's in there. It was very hard to finish. Daniel, he is very young still, good prospect. Literally did his best to try to pull out Alex. But Alex, man, that vet experience. Obviously, those leg kicks definitely hurt from the calf kicks as well. But I went for, I got Dustin Jacoby right. I got Farid, Michael. This one, I got it wrong. I thought Jailton Almeida was going to win and Amir Albazi. But kind of going down this, Dustin Jacoby just shows that experience help. Julius Walker literally didn't have anything to answer, right? Dustin Jacoby was able to outpace him, outstrike him. Obviously, Julius Walker was able to take him down, but Jacoby was able to get up the entire time, and it was able to just literally beat the brakes out of Julius Walker. Love this fight. Love this for Dustin Jacoby, especially as almost like a resurgence. You have an opportunity to go in the rankings and possibly move in the next fight. Farid Basharat, dude, honestly, I was conflicted. I genuinely thought Gene Matsumoto won this fight. Might be calling me crazy. I know towards the end, Gene definitely was slowing down. But Farid, I do think he did not do enough to beat Gene Matsumoto. I think Gene kind of hit the harder punches. Definitely did better on the grappling area. I guess it was a split decision depending on the judges that night. I know Farid was definitely getting a lot of boos, which obviously he doesn't deserve it. However, I do think Gene won that fight. Maybe I'm crazy. Who knows? Again, this is a fight that was kind of going against. And I'm also apologize. The last video did not have no audio. I don't know why. I'm not going to take it down. Screw it. It is what it is. We just move on. Michael versus Mark Andrade. Look, I got this fight right, but it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Michael in the clinch struggled. I'm talking about really, really struggled. He was getting literally outboxed in that pocket. Mark Andrade was very difficult, was not going out. And it was literally towards the middle of the fight. As soon as like 2 minutes, 30 seconds on that second round, Mark Andrade, he won that second round for me. And that third round was pretty close. But definitely it was a clear decision for Michael, that fight. But Mark Andrade did not make it easy. Now, this should have been Michael's finishing mark in the first round, second round. Because it still shows that, unfortunately, as Michael was doing really, really well in the first round, being very patient, picking out his shots, he had a moment where he almost finished Marc Andrade, but he, instead of like really engaging, he was just waiting. I still think he will struggle against a top 10 fighter. Unfortunately, maybe I think he'll crack top 15. But he's just not going to crack top 10. There's just too many moments that Michael starts to lose, starts to slow down. And Marc Andrade, not to disrespect him in anything, but this was a fight that you're supposed to go out there and finish him and put a staple saying like, hey, I got a resurgence, man. I got a second win. All right. Which you're good. You're on a 3-fight winning streak. But this should have been a fight where you finished him. I like this fight. It was really good. I think this should be fight of the night. It was very dog water. This is the one I'm actually going to say dog water, not the last fight. Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Guniev. I want to literally hurt myself in a very violently way. I want to really put myself through. Watching this fights like this is literally torture, Vietnam style. I don't think Vietnam soldiers would have handled seeing this on repeat. I think this would have caused more physical damage than anything that you could possibly imagine. Forget the gas from World War II, dude. Watching this fight felt like that type of suffering. And I think I deserve a Purple Heart because of this. This fight was so bad. Look, first of all, cut Jailton Almeida. He is done. You're done. Cut him. Get him out of here. I don't want to see this. How do you look this big and you can't beat a guy that looks like this? How are you muscular? How are you like a six-pack dude? Giant, right? You couldn't take him down. You got really tired. Your striking was absolutely abysmal. Awful fight. Awful fight. And Rizvan isn't any better. Okay, they're really pushing him because he's from Dagestan, but he's not going to be champion. All right, they got lucky that it appeared him with Jailton Almeida. His last fight, Rizvan versus Curtis Blades, that boy lost. It was a close fight, but Curtis Blades won that fight. And then now, Jailton Almeida, you're done. I don't want to see this fighter again. Okay, the heavyweight needs to approve steroids, right? They need to up the pay. They need a better athletes because obviously the heavyweight athletes go to the NFL, go to the NBA, right? Obviously NBAs are more skinnier and tall. But there isn't enough talent in the heavyweight division, which is absolutely insane to think about it, right? We're the best fighters. You think about the heavyweights like the baddest man on the planet. Dude, I don't think they are. Just because you're in the heavyweight division, like boxing heavyweight division is so much better than the MMA heavyweight division. The heavyweight MMA division is dead. They should cut the cap. There should be no weight limit. They should be promoting better pay. Get these guys on steroids or something so it just becomes a better... I don't know what to do, how to fix it. Like, the heavyweight division is so dead. And I've said this so many times. Anytime there's a heavyweight fight in the main card for me, I'm just on my phone. It's just going to be boring, right? It's just nothing, no skill. They get tired after the first round, which I'm like, how are you training? How are you that, out of shape? Don't like it. Cut it. Moving on. Amir Albazi for Kyoji Horiguchi. I got this fight wrong. Really wrong. Really, really wrong. And I accept it. All right. Dude, Kyoji, for a 35-year-old, he moves like he's 22, 23. He is so dangerous. His fighting skill is good. He is strong. Anytime Amir tried to wrestle him, he failed. Literally 7 attempts, and he failed all of them. And Kyoji was literally just putting that pressure on him. He made Amir's face look devastated red. Look, Kyoji could definitely be the next champion. I could see it. I mean, I don't see anybody clipping him. Joshua Van will be a really good fight. You know, Joshua Van's obviously 10 years younger than this man. And it's an opportunity of the old versus the new. Kyoji, obviously, he has fought in the who's who. He's won the UFC before. He has fought in against Demetrius Johnson, which is crazy to think about that. That's how long ago he was in the UFC. Goes to Rizin, goes to Bellator, and then makes a comeback in the UFC. And has been on a crazy winning streak. And he doesn't look like he's slowing down. Look, I think Kyoshi should either fight against the winner between Brandon Moreno and his next fight, or Brandon Royval. Obviously, he's going to move up the rankings to number 6. I think so. Let me look at the rankings real quick. I mean, he's going to be number 6. Tatsuro Taira. Tatsuro should fight against the belt thing. Manel Cap obviously beat Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno. I mean, Kyoji literally has that option, right? Like, he could fight the winner of Brandon Moreno. Because Brandon Moreno, obviously, I don't think he's going to fight the title anytime soon. This is a good name for him. Especially Brandon Moreno was coming off a loss. And Brandon Moreno wins his next fight. That's good. If he loses, well, move on. Brandon Royval would be a very good matchup. Manel Cap, I think he's just waiting for... Obviously, we're going to have to wait for Joshua Van versus Alexander Pantoja. Tatsuro Taira will be a good fight, too. You know, they're both Japanese fighters. It brings a lot of hype over there. And I do apologize if I'm covering this whole thing. So, it's a very good time to be in the flyweight. You know what? It's so insane. A couple years ago, flyweight was a dead division. But now you start to see, like, there's just so many guys, right? You got the Kyoji. You got Brandon Royval, you got Tatsuro Taira, you have Manel Cap, Alexander Pantoja. Those are 7 guys that you know that could be champion, right? Azul Almabayev. Obviously, Albazi lost his fight. He's going to go down the rankings. Steve Erceg is always right there. And Loner Kavanagh, this guy, we'll see. If he beats Brandon Moreno, that's a huge jump. Wouldn't really have him fight for the title. I would have him either actually fight against Kyoji. But hey, look, that's a close matchup. They're right there neck to neck. Like to see it. This was a phenomenal performance for Kyoji. I think he gets the performance of the night. Just because he just put in a straight up an amazing show. Now, the main event. Mario Bautista versus Vinicio Oliveira. Look, I kind of call this out. Vinicio Oliveira, I think you have to move the division. You are literally too big. You think that you're making that weight cut really nice and well, but you're not. You're exposing, your cardio failed you. Mario Bautista was able to outwork you. I'm not saying, and this is not taking any credit for Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista put a phenomenal show. It was a 10 out of 10. That was his best performance I've seen. All right, obviously, we just a lot of hate that he's gotten, especially after the Jose Aldo fight. But ever since then, man, he has been fighting against straight-up killers. Gave Umar a hard time. And obviously proved that, look, there's up-and-coming guys that he's willing to, you know what, say, I'm going to step up and fight. He is not those guys waiting for a top division, not waiting for a title fight. He is literally carving his path, and he's going through that mud. All right, obviously, he's a training partner over there in Chicago. I do believe he trains with Bilal, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, then it is what it is. But this guy has that great attitude. That's what I like about Mario Bautista. And I like to see him fight against Corey Sandhagen next. All right, Sean O'Malley is a big decision because they're not going to give it to him because of the star power and the name. But Corey Sandhagen is an opportunity, though I do want to see Corey fight against Sean O'Malley. But Mario Bautista, like I mentioned, he should fight, let's see, the bantamweight division. So, obviously, in his next fight, because he's going to jump up, or he should go up to number 8. Look, Marlon Vera is done. All right. Davison Figueiredo, again, done. This is a fighter that I know Mario could beat. Mario could beat Marlon. He could beat Figueiredo. He could beat Zahabi. He could beat Song Yadong. And he could beat Sean O'Malley. Corey Sandhagen, that's a tough fight. But you know the way he performed tonight? I think he could beat Corey Sandhagen. I think if I'm being honest, I'll place Mario Batista at number 3. I think the only people he can't beat is Peter Yan, Merab, and Umar. Though I think a Merab fight will be an amazing fight, just because out of any other fight beside like Peter Yan, I think Mario could match that stamina, because Mario is also a workhorse. I mean, you saw the way he performed, right? The way he was able to scramble, instantly get Vinicius on the back, got him in the rear naked and choked him. The Vinicius had no answer. Hands on low, was exhausted, was trying to even grapple him, get to the ground. And then Vinicius was just trying to play his guard, and Mario Batista was doing so smart, just not engaging. But as soon as he was trying to get that Kimura, then switched it into a rear naked, and he's a smart fighter, phenomenal IQ. And I'd like to see him fight against someone like Corey. Obviously, preferably would have been better, but any of those guys in the top 5. Song Yadong would be pretty much an easier fight for him compared to Corey. But hey, Corey beat him before, and if he gets this rematch and beats him, dude, then he's knocking right there at the title shot. You know. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. I really did like this card. It wasn't a great card like anything with Super Memorial. Obviously, this is a fight night, and we're probably going to see a lot of fights like this moving on, especially because next Saturday we don't have a fight, but in 2 weeks we do, and I will give my predictions with Sean Strickland and Fluffy. But do appreciate y'all checking this video out. Make sure there's going to be audio in this one, and see y'all later. Peace.